Race swaps and gender swaps are so last decade with the market. But Hollywood continues to rocket, thinking that it's going to take them all the way to the moon, to the stars, to make them money beyond their wildest dreams. And yet what seems to happen every time is a total collapse. Today, however, we're looking at going too far. Netflix is despising and deriding the legacy of C.S. Lewis by gender swapping a lion that represents Christ himself. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure, as always, to have you here with us. Like the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A, it's our pleasure to serve you. Folks, as we get ready to get started, all we ask in return is that you click the like button, and we have a big story in the cultural battle that continues on. Has Netflix finally gone too far? Is the rumor true? We'll explain to you what's going on and why Christians may be unsubscribing in numbers never seen before. Barbie director rumored to pick Meryl Streep to play gender-swapped Aslan in Narnia reboot. Oh my. It says, let's see here. Greta Gerwig, director of Barbie, is reportedly planning to gender swap Aslan, the lion who represents a Christ-like figure in C.S. Lewis' iconic Chronicles of Narnia series, for her upcoming Netflix adaptation of The Magician's Nephew. According to Nexus Point News, none other than Meryl Streep is in talks to voice the reimagined Aslan. Let that sink in. Now, I believe, Jonas, that you are a big fan of the Narnia books. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would say specifically the ones that have the Pevensies in them, but yeah.
And is it fair to say, Jonas, that not only are you a fan of the Narnia books, but you're also an admirer of C.S. Lewis?
Absolutely. My daughter for my birthday got me a copy of the Screwtape Letters, an annotated edition of the Screwtape Letters. It was a great gift.
Jonas, I am being correctified in the chat. They're telling me that it's not Aslan. How do you pronounce it?
Usually Aslan with a Z as opposed to the S, but I think you're probably fine.
Aslan. Okay, we'll do that. All right, Aslan. All right, Jonas. Does it matter if they gender swap Aslan for a Netflix show? And is this the one time that Netflix perhaps should say, nah, I'm not going to do it?
Yes, in every possible way, it matters if they do this. You get an IP because of the built-in audience, and the built-in audience for this is aware of what Aslan should look like. And Aslan is a male lion. I don't know if Greta Gerwig is a biologist, but female lions, otherwise known as lionesses, look different than male lions. They do not look as majestic, although they can be more fierce in some instances. They don't have a mane.
The male lions don't say that to the lionesses. It does not go well for them when they do. They don't say, you're not as majestic as I.
Yeah.
There aren't as many cubs that get born as a result.
I know exactly what her first interview about this is going to be when she's asked about it. She's going to reference the fact that the lionesses go out and do the hunting. So she felt that the lion that should be the creator of Narnia should be female, because we have to, never mind the fact that what Aslan represents in Narnia is not at all subtle and not at all hidden subtext. So,
yeah. Also, the grand voice of Aslan is supposed to be the voice of God. Essentially, it's supposed to be Jesus in this case. And the last time I checked, God is a boy's name, and generally speaking, uses the he, him pronouns, capital H on that one. These are straight up a Christian allegory. They were always intended as a Christian allegory. They can be enjoyed without becoming a Christian, of course, because they are good stories. But Aslan in all of this is meant to teach children about tenets of the Christian faith. The entire thing is, dripping with allegory about Christianity. Of course, well known that Tolkien, also a Christian, not a big fan of allegory. So he kind of prodded his good friend C.S. Lewis about all this. It is an affront to the property to imply that you are going to make Aslan a girl, or to imply that the male Aslan will be voiced by, no matter how accomplished the actress is, by a female voice.
Now, let me just bring this up, that Netflix is, they are accustomed at this point to being involved in major controversies around race and gender swapping. In fact, if we go to Did You Miss the News, it says Netflix's adolescence is not based on, an unfortunate event that happened in Southport. It's based on other things that happened. And it goes on to talk about who did these unfortunate things in real life and then how it's portrayed in the show, which was, for the first time ever, Netflix actually switched it to a white guy, a working class white kid. So Netflix is into this kind of thing. And listen, I don't know why they want to do this with Narnia. Like, Greta Gerwig, come on. You know this is going to be incredibly controversial, but worse, it's going to make this unsuccessful. And I know that we're not going to see this in the box office, right? So we're not going to get the theatrical numbers, so we won't know this became a Snow White. And there will be a lot of hate watching that happens, and then that will be presented as if it's successful. But nobody is actually going to be tuning into this because they're actually enjoying it. So if you want to troll all of Christianity, if you want to try to make some kind of statement about Christology, have at it. But Netflix, I don't think that you're going to be in the position to do so. YouTube is kicking your butt in streaming. Nobody wants to talk about it. You're beating Disney by a lot, and we brag about you. You're beating Amazon Prime by a lot, and that's impressive because basically everybody has Amazon Prime just as virtue of having Amazon. But YouTube is beating you. And this kind of stuff right here is going to cause you to be in a distant second place, and eventually everybody's going to know that the race was won by YouTube, where, by the way, the content is made by people like us right here. Culture, Ron, get in here. It's been too long. I got to hear from you. What you got to say on this one?
This doesn't make any sense to me. First of all, I enjoyed the Chronicles of Narnia movies that have already been made, right? They made The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. They're already out there. They're very good movies. When I hear Meryl Streep, there's only one role that comes to mind that she has not played yet, and it would be a Disney live action role. I think she would make a great Cruella de Vil. If they were going to, go a different direction than they did in the last live action, which they could because there's a precedent for it because they've already had two different live action Cruella de Vils. You could do that one to death, but still, I just don't understand why. I don't understand why there's any of this nonsense going on in Hollywood. Honestly, if you have a character, any character that is well known by the public, for example, Disney's Snow White, we know, and I'm not talking about just the swapping of a race or anything like that, but the character is known. And if you're going to remake the property, just make it with that character. Otherwise, just do a different property. Why isn't Hollywood creative enough to simply do something original if they want to change stories around, if they want to change characters around? Don't say it's based off this and we're doing this, but then do something else. How many times does Hollywood have to fail at that formula before they learn their lesson? It's been failure after failure after failure in Hollywood with extremely few successes, even at just redoing live actions in general. But as far as the swapping thing around, whether it's race or gender or whatever, it doesn't work. It hasn't worked. It never will work. It's not any good. Just do something original, please.
I think it's going to be hard for Meryl Streep to play the role of God, essentially, an allegory for God. I think it's going to be hard for Meryl Streep to play that role because I thought she believed Harvey was a god. Just saying.
Well, she's also famously been a devil.
Yeah, that's true. And she wore Prada. Hey, real quick, Coach, let me show this to you because they are going to put it in a limited run. So it's going to be released on Thanksgiving Day, 2026. 4 weeks, IMAX only. That's the way they're going to be able to hide this, make a little bit of money, but they're not going to put it out for the full box office release because it would get Snow White numbers. Because if they do this, it's going to be incredibly unpopular. Why do they keep doing it, Culture? What's the point?
Okay. Wow. I feel like a mimeograph. I'm going to say the same thing I did a few minutes ago. See, when you control very powerful...
It's not sinking into them yet. You got to pound it in.
Okay. See, when you control primary elements of popular culture in their IP form, you have an opportunity to drive home an ideology. Now, Netflix is ideologically captured, and boy, are they. In fact, they are constantly touting, just a complete ideological message from beginning to end.
Are they the next Disney culture because of it? Because they've been successful.
They have been to a certain degree, but it mostly because they relied on other people's catalogs of things. As they've gone down the road of developing their own, they have allowed for every type of depravity to be hammered out on their airwaves, so to speak. This particular thing is being done for an ideological reason, and solely if it is actually being done. Now, again, I'm going to say they can't possibly be this stupid. Now, there's a part of my brain saying, of course they're this stupid. They're doing it on purpose, and I understand. So the whole purpose is to change culture and to change what resonates morally with everybody. I mean, it's the only way that you can get to back to a serf and master kind of a situation. You're all serfs. You just don't know it yet.
All right, well, we'll surf on that wave. Before we go away, though, on this topic, Jonas, I'd like to know, what do you think C.S. Lewis would believe and say about this massive change to his property?
I would say that Wormwood would be very happy about it. But here's the thing we don't want to get lost in if we're really talking about what C.S. Lewis would say. He wouldn't want us to hate them to the point of becoming the thing that we don't want to be. I think he would be disappointed. I think he would be very dismissive of it. I wonder how the rights ended up at Netflix to begin with. But the real thing in all of this is to remember that these are people messing around with an IP, and the original books still exist. I highly recommend, especially the Chronicles of Narnia, the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Prince Caspian, and of course, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Focus on characters like Reepicheep and the honor that he has to serve his master. So.
Jonas, I'm hearing that the rights were delivered to Netflix in a screw tape letter, actually.
I was thinking maybe whoever sold the rights traded them for Turkish delight.
I get that one too. Oh, we're so funny. All right, folks, well, it's not going to be funny for Netflix. We'll see what happens, but that's the story where it stands. Maybe this will be the time when, they did the race swap with Snow White. They lost big. Hollywood ran away. Maybe this is the gender swap that leads them to say, no, I think we're not going to try that anymore. We'll see. Well, folks, we've come to the end of another video of pure excellence and fun. Explaining entertainment, keeping you ahead of the culture curve. That's what we hope you believe we've just done. And why should you believe it? Well, because we've done our very best to make it so. To be true, to be factual, and to do what the mainstream, so-called access journalists simply won't. Folks, you can help share this out across the fruited plains of YouTube by clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And folks, as we get ready to say sayonara for now, we ask that you keep learning, keep growing, and wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep having fun.
Jump into the water. Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.